What's poppin', YouTube family? It's your boy Dwight. Welcome back to the channel, Silverback Siage. Hope all is well with everybody. Today's an extra special video. I was tagged in by my boy Diedrich Hicks Jr. And the topic that they chose was picking the best fragrance out of popular designer fragrance houses. And the way I kind of chose mine, I did 7 different designer houses. And the criteria for me was I had to make sure that I had at least 2 to 3 or more fragrances for that particular designer house, so that no fragrances actually won by default. If you'd like to see which ones I'm bringing to the table, keep it locked. Well, let's get right down to the meat and potato. The first designer house I decided to dig off into is the house of Mont Blanc. And my favorite fragrance, or my top one in my collection, my humble opinion from that house, is Mont Blanc Explorer. Now, mind you, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on notes. Just want to enlighten y'all on my favorite ones from these houses. That one there is top notes. You got Italian bergamot, some pink pepper, little sage in there. Hard notes, Haitian vetiver and leather. Base notes, to name a few. I got some ambroxan, cacao pod, and Indonesian patchouli, to name a few. But with this one here, it's often compared to Creed Intense. You get a little bit of that vibe, but for me, the bergamot in here is what gives you that Creed Intense opening. But as it begins to dry down, it gets spicy with the pink pepper, and the leather comes to the forefront quite a bit more, kind of tricking some people's nose or inexperienced nose to give you some of that smoky birch vibe that Creed Intense has. But there's no birch, no smoke in this one here. The bergamot, the leather, on into that ambroxan, and patchouli dry down, reign supreme. Awesome fragrance. To me, my favorite Mont Blanc fragrance in my collection thus far. Next house, I decided to go with the house of Dior. And what I feel is my favorite fragrance from that house is Dior Intense. One of my staple fragrances when it's cold outside. Now this one here, what you get with this one, you get some iris in this fragrance, of course, which is what they're known for in this line. But as it begins to dry down, to me, the cacao kind of gives you that chocolate vibe, along with some cedar wood, and that ambrette kind of gives you that creamy marshmallow vibe that actually rocks with that cedar wood. And to me, it's almost like a little bit of patchouli in there. And it's not listed in the notes, but I believe that there is some patchouli in there that kind of gives you that chocolate vibe. But the iris is the #1 note in there. To me, it's one that I'll never be without in my collection. I've heard a lot about Dior Homme Parfum, but I don't own that one yet. I don't know if it'll overtake this one once I get it in my collection, but it's extremely hard to get on these websites. And then when it does come in on like FragranceBot.ca, it's sold out within a blink of an eye. Definitely plan to get my hands on that one, but I don't have it as of yet. Next house that I went to, the house of Banana Republic, and my favorite in my collection is Tonka Bean and Tobacco, or Tobacco and Tonka Bean. Now this one here, you can get at your rack stores, most times Burlington. And these Banana Republic fragrances are still going at a really, really reasonable price at the $19.99 range. Is within that. I got about 6 or 7 of these, and I look to collect some more. Some actually haven't made it to the channel yet. But top notes, you got pear, you got some plum. Heart notes, you got some coconut, which you get a little bit of that vibe, very creamy version of it. Tobacco leaf, it ain't crazy strong, but you do get it. But as it dries down, the notes that reign supreme is the tonka bean and the vanilla. Amazing cool weather scent, but you can pull it off on some cool, maybe date nights in the spring. Probably wouldn't go overboard wearing it in the summer, because to me, the scent profile cuts through the cold, and it really, really complements how you dress when it's kind of cold outside there. But an amazing one from Banana Republic. Next one is from the house of Issa Laurent, and it's Y Eau de Parfum. To me, the strongest of the bunch. Maybe a little bit more playful and youthful out of all of them. But to me, it's the one that projects the best, draws the most attention, with your top notes of apple, bergamot, ginger, and aldehydes, just to name a few. Heart notes, sage, juniper berry, and some lavender. And as it dries down, you get a little bit of that tonka bean, but the frankincense kind of gives you a little bit of those light smoky vibe and some vetiver. This one here is another one that I always plan to have in my collection. I hope they never discontinue this formulation of it though, because it's one that you can spray on and people can just pick it up. I don't care if you had a cookout. I don't care if you had somewhere outside, somewhere really nice. I will say there are other ones in this line, especially the Le Parfum, that might be a little bit better for a formal event, but this is still my favorite one because I'm still a little bit of a projection guy when it comes to fragrances. Next one, the House of Chanel. And what I chose out of my collection so far is Issa Laurent Edition Blanche. Now this one here, best way to describe it, creamy lemon meringue pie. Very unique scent profile. I've never smelled anything like this one here. Top notes, you got some black pepper and some pink pepper. So it's kind of spicy coming in. But the heart notes is some of the ones that really kick off the profile that you get within this fragrance, being the bergamot and the lemon. And as it begins to dry down, it still gets creamy with the sandalwood, and the ginger is hit or miss, but the white musk comes to the forefront. This one here is a staple when it's hot outside. I'm hearing that the eau de toilette concentration, which I think they discontinued that one, it may have projected a little farther. This one here tends to sit a little closer to the skin after those first couple of hours, but it's a very unique profile, scent profile that reigns supreme when it's hot. Very cooling and refreshing. Next one, second to last, I went to the House of Tom Ford, and my favorite in my collection is the Black Orchid Parfum, the nice gold, shiny gold bottle. Awesome scent profile, if you ask me. And what you get with this one, top notes, you get the black orchid and the black truffle, which definitely is very prevalent in this one here. But you got a nice rum absolute accord in here. And as it begins to go into the heart, you get some ylang-ylang, so it's the yellow florals that kind of pop when it comes to this fragrance here. But to me, the two notes that really reign supreme is the rum accord, the black truffle accord. So you get kind of a double dose of chocolate between that and the patchouli that's in this fragrance. But the plum hides in the background, and that rum really makes it pop versus the regular black orchid, which I do plan to actually add that to the collection down the road. But this one here is super nice. And when it's cold outside, it gives you a scent profile that is very versatile in the sense of you could dress it up or dress it down, kind of like I'm dressed right now, but have a unique scent profile that everybody won't be smelling like. And last but not least, in the Giorgio Armani family, I went with Profumo, the discontinued Profumo. Now, true enough, they have that new Acqua di Gio Parfum version of this fragrance that's out. I've had a brief sample of it. Probably will add it to the collection since this one's discontinued, and it'll also allow me to save sprays on this one here. But to me, this one here is a little stronger, a little bit more bold, and a little bit, it makes its presence felt a little bit more than that brand new one. Top notes, it is aquatic. You got bergamot, spicy notes. Heart notes, you got some sage and geranium, to name a few of them. And the frankincense and patchouli combo to dry it down, to me, is what actually takes it from it being aquatic in the opening. And then as it dries down, it gives you that smoky grown man vibe. And I can see exactly why this one here was so sought after when it first came out, and it stayed on everybody's top 10 list. Now, what I don't quite get is the fact that they discontinued it and brought out another fragrance that smells so similar, but I'm not for sure if some of the notes in this one was either outlawed or banned by the mixtures of these fragrances, or the numbers actually after years of its selling went down. I don't know how, but to me that one's awesome. But overall, this is my top 7 from these fragrance houses within my collection that's constantly growing. But thus far, to me, these reign supreme. Me overall, I don't have a specific nobody that I want to tag for these videos. Anybody that's in the fragrance related content or actually creates fragrance related content, you're a tag for sure. Once again, like I said, I'd like to shout out and thank my partner, Diedrich Hicks, for including me in this tag. But that's my time and that's my 7. Keep it. Peace.